What's up, YouTube? It's your girl, allegedly A-lease, and I'm here to give you my thoughts and my opinions on the show that's taken up the days of our lives. Let's talk about Married at First Sight. Thank you to each and every person who has subscribed thus far. And if this is your first time visiting, welcome to my channel. I'd love to hear your perspective about the whole situation. So drop down in the comments and let's have this conversation. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now let's get into it. We open with Ryan and Clara at Ryan's house, and Clara has plans to change Ryan's life, literally and figuratively. Across town, Paige shows up to play basketball with her husband, Chris. Paige, I'm sorry, I smell the desperation just coming through the screen at this point, Paige. This is the same man who bought a Mercedes for Mercedes. And you show up in your finest sports bra and leggings like, girl, we can't tell what this is about. Didn't he already teach you, Paige? The only thing that this is going to get you is love, then he'll leave you. That's what he's already done. He's used and abused you. After they finish playing like they're playing basketball, they sit down and they discuss their hopes and dreams while Chris is singing his shoulda, coulda, wouldas. He says he wants to have 3 to 5 businesses running simultaneously, generating $1 million each at least. How? You couldn't even let us eat fresh for 1 full year, sir. And plus, allegedly, you didn't even put in the money on the investment. You went and found a couple different investors, okay? Allegedly. So put your own money in and then come back and see me about these 3 to 5 businesses. Also, Chris, do you even know what a business plan looks like? You say you went to business school, but you acting real dumb. Meanwhile, Paige is sitting over there looking mesmerized by the volcanic eruption of lies that Chris is spewing from his mouth. She finally snaps out of her trance and says, oh my gosh, it's like we've had so many storms and we don't even know what normal looks like. Chris says, maybe in this contractual agreement, sure, but in my personal life, I'm an introvert. I know. You think I'm the life of the party. I know. I give that life of the party vibe. You give homie the clown vibes. Paige inquires about Chris's first engagement, and he says, from a maturity standpoint, I just wasn't ready. And you're still not. You're like a slow turtle crossing the street. And here we go again, y'all. Paige is thanking her husband, for showing up to hang out with her. In making light conversation, Virginia asks a simple question of, so how are things going? And Ryan answers like it's a full-out interview. Well, the trajectory of the relationship seems to be going in a profitably stable manner. So look for some relationship gains year over year in the way that we're headed. What? Bruh, all we needed was the last sentence that you actually said. And that's, I got a grasp on Clara and we're growing from there. That's all. No one really actually cared. They were just asking for the cameras. Eric announces that he dropped the L word on Virginia, and Clara looks hurt. In her confessional, she says that she would love to hear the L word from her spouse. Wait a second, Clara. Last week you told Dr. Viv that you weren't even banking on any type of emotional connection with Ryan. You were over that and you were just trying to get to the physical. See, don't be like Haley. Don't sit up here and want something because someone else has it. Don't be envious. Be happy for Virginia in that moment because you don't know their whole story. It's definitely not roses over there. Clara shares her concern with Eric and Virginia about his lack of ever using the L word. And Ryan is sitting there with his chest poked out because his previous relationship, he got away with it for 2 years. And Clara quickly wipes that little pride of smile off of his face by saying, I tell you what, I'm not doing 2 years. If I don't hear I love you in 6 months, I'm out, and so are you. Paige, Haley, and Bree meet up for lunch, and I don't know why they let Bree go first, because you know Haley's gonna sugarcoat everything with her story once she hears how great their story is going. And she does it once again. Bree says how wonderful everything is going with her and Vince. And here comes Haley trying to sugarcoat how things are going with her and Jacob, knowing that she doesn't even want Jacob to touch her. So now it's Paige's turn to spill the tea. And she shares with the ladies about Chris's decision to purchase a Mercedes for Mercedes and his reasoning behind it, in the fact that she needed a car and she hadn't had a car since her accident and she was so traumatized. And Haley actually asked the question that I said last week. What's going to be so different now? Why is it all of a sudden okay now for her to get a car? And again, she's an able-bodied person. If she has gone through therapy and she's now ready for a car, she can go buy it herself. She's a grown woman. She's not a kid. She can buy her own car. It's becoming clear to me why the experts paired Paige and Chris together. And it has zero to do with their religion and everything to do with the fact that they're both slow as turtles. She's just now coming to the conclusion that Chris is operating as a single man. And the sad part is she's not saying it to Chris. She's saying it to Bree and Haley. And she says that decision should have been made with me, not individually. Say it to Chris. Question, was Haley's top on backwards? Anyway, Paige continues and tells them about the Bible study, but left out the fried chicken refreshments. She says she now feels that she's getting to know him, and that's what should have been happening from day one. Sis, you know it takes two to tango, right? Like, you had several opportunities to say, you know what, Rev, I think we should really take a moment to get to know each other before we move any further. Rev. Then Paige says something that I totally disagree with. Paige says that she's having a hard time separating getting to know Chris and everything that she already knows about Chris. Paige, stop being a fool. It's literally one and the same. True story. I went to school for radio, television, broadcasting, and at the completion of my degree, I actually became a DJ in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I'm no longer doing that now because I love my job in sales. And so when you think about it, that's my past, right? But it's who I am. So if I was getting to know someone, that's still a very important fundamental part of who I am, because that's what I was formally trained to do in life. Even though I'm not doing it, most of us don't do what we went to school for. Some people do, but it's still very important to me. And even though it's my past, it's what has shaped me to be the person that I am today. And so for you to say that you're trying to separate his past from who he currently is, who you're currently getting to know, they're no different. You need to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's why when you go out on a date page, you say, oh, so have you been in a relationship over the last 3 years? That was his past, but you're still getting to know this person, and you're getting to know what didn't work in the past so that you can see if you would be a fit in this person's life or if this person would be a fit in your life. So that's why you go on a date and ask various questions, Paige. As a matter of fact, she keeps calling this his past. It's not his past. It's actually his present, Paige, you included. So he literally just set his ex-fiance in front of you just a couple episodes ago. So you can't call that his past if his past is sitting right in front of you with child, supposedly, allegedly. Paige finally admits her truth in the format of a question to the ladies. Have I fallen in love with the idea of marriage? I think that you've fallen in love with the idea of marriage, and you've fallen in lust with the idea of Chris. Later, Haley and Jacob meet up with a tarot card reader. Side note, Haley, what are you wearing? In my personal opinion, Haley's outfits match Jacob swag way more than the princess will ever admit. Anyway, here we go with something else that Jacob is definitely not comfortable with, but he's being a true team player for the sake of his relationship with Haley. The tarot card reader says that they're going to have to both stop trying to control each other, let things flow, and basically their charts are perfectly compatible. Basically, Haley, someone else is telling you to open your eyes and see that this is a good man that you're compatible with. Come down off that high horse. For some reason, you're on this pedestal and you think that you're better than Jacob. And everyone is literally at this point telling you that y'all are compatible. You're compatible with him. Who's next, Haley? Is a priest going to have to come in and tell you that you're compatible with Jacob? Eric, Eric's ego, Virginia, and Virginia's drink go on a roadside picnic. And they basically argue the entire time about where they will reside after the show finishes. Back to Paige and Chris. Every single episode, Chris says that he is getting more attracted to his wife. I guess you are literally taking baby steps, like literally. Paige tells Chris that she wants some consistency. And Chris says, how can I give you consistency when you don't answer the phone when I call you? Oh, shocker. She says that he should have followed up with a text. Now, Paige, last episode you told Dr. Viv, all I want from my husband, not even to stay with me, just to call me. I just want to hear from my husband. Girl, he called you. And Chris tells her he does not like to text. He prefers talking on the phone. He's a talk on the phone kind of guy. Now, Chris, last week you told Dr. Viv and Paige that you don't like to talk on the phone. Remember, you like to hang out. Go out, hang out. Remember, Chris? I do. Again, are we being punked? Because whoever is writing this script either needs to be fired, drug tested, or go work for Tyler Perry. Now, Chris says, I don't think that we're doing a good job at being spouses. And rather than listen to what Chris is saying, Paige attempts to defend and salvage the marriage. Just because you choose to stay doesn't mean that he will. And you can't be mad at him at this point because he now has told you. Now, Paige says that she wants to see this process through since they are legally married and this is real life. And she continues to say, Chris, you don't respect me. You just now figuring it out. He says that he does respect her, but he doesn't know her. And they don't communicate. And so he uses that one time that he attempts to call her over and over and over as a leg up in the argument to say that Paige is the reason that their marriage isn't successful. Paige says that it's because every time they get together, Chris has nothing to say. And Chris says the reason I have nothing to say on camera is because you don't have anything to say off camera. Chris goes full Haley on her and says, I don't have a connection with you. So at this point, I'm emotionally out. I'm down the street, around the corner, on the freeway. He says the fact that I've called you 7 times and you have nothing to say to me until the cameras are rolling is foul. These cameras won't be here forever. Chris says, this is not it for me. Like, we've hit a dead end and we're done. And Paige breaks down crying and she storms out. Now, on to happier moments. It's their 1-month anniversary. Vince surprises Bree with a beautiful boat ride and dinner, and he pops a bottle of champagne and even allows Bree to call him Champagne Vinny. Jacob and Haley go to a winery, and while they're at the winery, they're actually watching a video clip of their wedding, and I really lack the interest in comparing her promises and her vows versus her actual real-time actions. As Haley is trying to dance past the issue saying, we didn't keep our vows, but we can stay positive and move forward, Jacob is like, how, Sway? How? He says that something's going to have to be different going into this next month than it was month 1. And he says, at this point, I don't even know how to connect with you. And we lose positive Haley, and all of a sudden real Haley steps in and says, well, I don't know how to connect with you either. I would hate to be friends with Haley because she never keeps it 100 with anyone. I don't even think Haley knows how to keep it 100 with herself at this point. Jacob says that he feels that Haley looks straight past him and that he doesn't feel a connection with her because he believes that Haley doesn't want one. He said, clearly, there are reasons that you're not attracted to me, but you just don't want to keep it all the way real. As Haley gives us her ongoing Karen statement of, I always connect with people, Jacob is like, you know what? Let me go back to my true love because my true love never does me wrong. Steak. In between Jacob eating his steak, he basically says that you're not attracted to me and this is really awkward trying to woo someone who's not feeling the kid. I've never had this issue before with anyone else. Haley pulls a Chris and tries to make this all Jacob's fault by saying, why are you just now telling me this? Girl, he said it like the last day of the honeymoon. He said it every single episode. And he said it to Dr. Viv last week. You trying it, Haley. You really are. Jacob says, cool, I've been done trying with you ever since you gave that disgusted sigh when we were tasked at hugging each other. And here she goes, full Karen on us. I need some kind of bond, like before you can just go touching on me. Girl, it's a whole paper bond that you got. Like you signed everything, you stood, there's witnesses. Girl, you got a bond. Haley, be glad somebody wants to touch you. I lack sympathy and empathy when it comes to Haley for 3 reasons. 1, you knew what you signed up for. This is season 12. This is not season 1. This is season 12. I would even give you season 4 because they still trying to make some adjustments. You never know what the producers are going to throw out. At this point, you're season 12. My second reason, Haley lacks class. Haley seems to want to look down on Jacob as if she's high and mighty and he's some peasant. When in actuality, Jacob is the most solid out of the 2 when it comes to being ready for a relationship. And just overall, his presence is a gift to whoever he ends up with. And my third reason is because Haley lacks self-awareness. Haley can point out each and everything that's wrong with Jacob and pick him apart, but when he calls her out, she has excuses longer than a CVS receipt. Let me say this, you could be a physically beautiful person, but the words that come out of your mouth are quite ugly, and that's what I see in Haley. Sometimes when someone spews a lot of hate and negativity, you lose the physical features and you begin to see them for their true selves. And that's honestly what I see in Haley. I no longer see a pretty woman. I see an insecure, bitter woman who really doesn't know what she wants. All she knows is that she's in a hurry to solidify herself by having all of the things that her friends has. And so to me, I don't respect Haley because of the way that she talks down to Jacob. There's a way to talk to people. Again, she's the one that signed up for this. And so when you sign up for something of this magnitude, you really have to do a lot of mental prep and say, okay, if it works out to my benefit, then great. If I really am not attracted to the guy, but he's cool, then cool. But if I'm not attracted to him and I don't feel a connection, this is how I'm going to maintain my composure and treat this person still with dignity. You really have to mentally prep because that's a whole human being that you're married to, and they don't deserve whatever anger that you have. So regardless of how you think he looks or his personality, he's still a human being and he deserves to be treated with respect. Jacob says, funny, you don't have a problem hugging strangers. And she says, yeah, but I never have to see them again. Jacob says, well, I tell you what, in 4 weeks, you ain't got to see me no more. Moving on, Eric and Virginia go on a flying date while Clara and Ryan go on a helicopter date. Meanwhile, Paige sits alone and reflects over her marriage and its current stance as she watches their wedding video. Paige, let me sum it up for you. You went through 20 years of drama in less than 30 days. Think on that. Now, production asked Paige, how does she move forward? And I'm calling foul. I feel like the production team is really trying to make Paige look bad at this point. Y'all didn't even have to film this scene. It was already done with the last scene of her and Chris. Y'all wrong for that. After Eric takes Virginia on a flight, they rejoin Virginia's drink and have dinner. Now, this scene definitely shows me that they deserve each other. She gives him this awkwardly large blanket with her picture on it for him to take with him when he travels for work. And he gave her a large frame of the coordinates where they actually got married. Okay. We have pictures from the location. We're good. It'll definitely make for a great conversation piece. So I want to hear your comments about this episode. So drop down in the comments section and let's chat about it. Until the next time, I'm allegedly A-lease. Peace.